Hi, today I wanted to show you how I was going to go about making some little tags with these manila shipping tags. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I've got a new circle mask from Scrap Friends, two actually, and this one as well. And I thought I'd use some of my new Heidi Swap Colour Shine inks and some Tattered Angels. Apart from that, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got some circle sort of stamping things that I thought I'd like to use as well, and some stays on ink, because when you stamp over your mists or sprays, the stays put. Apart from that, I really don't know what I'm going to do or what we're going to come up with, so this is, you know, off the bat. First of all, I know that you should always start with your biggest patterns and your lightest colours. So we'll start with our nice yellow Heidi Swap Colour Shine. It's a mustard. It's called mustard, but it's really much prettier than a mustard. And I'll just sort of put this over here. My intention with these tags is not to layer them up too much. I want to keep them fairly flat because I want to actually put them on the front of some birthday cards and be able to send them away in the mail. So I think scrapping, as well as being fun, should also be practical at times. So this is my practical scrapping time. Now the other thing, of course, is that you probably should wait to let layers dry, but I'm the most impatient scrapper in the world, so that's not going to happen here. And also be aware that mists tend to lose their colour as they're dry. So even though they seem quite strong when you're doing things, they will dry sort of not quite so strongly. Okay, that's a nice start, isn't it? Because I've got some little spots here, I thought maybe I'll go over these. And which will be my next? That's a really strong one, this chartreuse. That's quite strong too, so I might put on this one. Now I have to be careful. I might put on the little dots, because if I go to spray over that, I'm going to get a line there, which I may or may not want, but at the moment I don't think I do. And I don't think I'll have spots all over the page. I might just put some at the top and some at the bottom. You can see as I go, I tend to use a bit of Scott towel and dry off a little bit. That just keeps my masks a little bit more usable, and the colours don't get blotched all around. That's pretty good, isn't it? Now, this isn't going to be absolutely perfect or anything like that. What about this? I really like how you get different shapes and designs. So what I might do now is I'll just get a little dish. I use lots of these little dishes for things. And we might use the mint green. I haven't actually used this one. This is brand new. You've got to shake up the Heidi Swap ones really well, because until that sort of iridescent stuff sitting on the bottom is gone, otherwise you don't get a very good finish. It doesn't go all glittery and gleaming, which is what I like. Clogged. I don't know how true that is. So I'll just pour a little bit on there. I've never done this before, don't know what I'm doing, but I've got this little cotton reel and I thought it looked rather like fun. So I'll just practice on there. But yeah, so I don't want too much. Yeah, isn't it great? It's always good to just not always do your circles on the page, but to go off the page a little bit as well. Somehow it gives it a bit more of a finished touch. One more? How about that? I might put one in the middle. And of course the other thing you should try not to do is put things in straight lines. It always looks better if they're in sort of slightly different lines. That's looking really pretty, isn't it? So now that I've got that far, I think what I might do, this is really quite strong colour, but I like it because it adds a nice effect around the edges, if you can get it around the edges. So I might do a little bit of a dribble down one side if I can. See how we go. Can you see that colour sheen on here? I'm not sure if you can, but gee, it's pretty. That's why I like these ones. Yep, okay, that'll do for that one. Now what I might do is get my stays on. And because the end of the glue stick's got a really pretty sort of pattern there, I'll just check out and see what it looks like. Yeah, we might do that. And we might go over where we've done our other circles, and that sort of helps emphasize them. And one in the middle. Haha. Love stays on. Okay, so that's quite a nice pattern already by itself. Remember, I've got to put some sort of sentiment on here because it is going to be a birthday card. I think what I might do at this stage is I might just get this bit of Scotch towel. It's all scrunchy and all the rest of it. Might add to this little bit of, what colour was it? To the Heidi Swapp colour sheet. Might add a little bit of yellow to this. Why not? I'll just spray a little bit on. And we'll get a sort of slightly different colour here going. And I might just sort of clunk that in here and clunk it on. Gives it a bit more depth of colour.
Most of those were chickpeas.
There we go. And that looks much better. Right, so I've pretty well much finished my tag. Now I just have to do the prettying up. So what I've gone and done, I don't know if you can see, but I've sort of tried a couple of distress ink colours because I think what I want to do is put one of these pink paisley hearts over top here, and then I'm thinking some washi down the bottom, and of course I'm on a drive to use up ribbon, so I've got some nice ribbon that I think will look quite nice. Because the heart has got the script, I've also grabbed one of my script stamps from, which set is it? From a Pink Paisley Spring Jubilee set. I don't know if that's still available, but it's got some nice little words. So what I might do is stamp just a little bit randomly on the tag. So that's helped a little bit. The other thing is I need to go around the edge of my tag to define it. I think that's really important. Sometimes I'll grab the stays on and I'll just rub it along the edge, but this is a different way of doing it, which I quite like too. And because I've used the green of the stamp, I'm going to get my distress marker in the same colour and just go around the edge with the edge of the big end of the marker. These have two ends, a fine end and a thick end. I'm using the thick end. Okay, a little bit more finished off, I think. Then the next step for me is I don't want the tag to stand out too much, but I don't want it to blend in too much. So what I'm going to try and do first is spray it with the yellow and see how that goes, see what it looks like. And if I have to do it with something else, I might add it. Got to remember that these tags are resist. Oops, a daisy. Trying to get a bit of Scotch towel. And when you put them on, you can see the pattern come through. What does that look like? I think it needs a little bit of blue, personally. So we might use the Tattered Angels Plain Jane Blue. I quite like the splotchy look. Use up the lumps. That's better, it's not quite so strong. I don't want it to, you know, to stand out too much. And I might go around the edge with my distress marker again. We're allowed to cheat. Now that's a bit too dull, so I'm going to get the yellow out and go back in with it. That's better. Okay, so the next thing is my washi. I've got 3 washies. This is a fairly plain colour, but I'm going to put that along the bottom. I'm not quite sure about putting my sentiment on the tag now. I might not be able to do that because of my the colours of my circles are quite dark, so Probably the sentiment won't stand out, so I might do that on my card itself. I'm going to put another one along. I'm doing this so that when I put the patterned washi on top, you can actually see the pattern a bit more. Otherwise it'll just get lost with the background colours that I've used. And I'm not sure if I'll use this one or not, but we'll have a look. No, don't need that one. Okay, so that's that one. The other stuff I've discovered is this art glitter adhesive, which is really, really good for drying stuff quickly. I'm just going to put a little bit on the top. Doesn't have to be the perfect length or anything. I'll just cut a little bit off to start with. It's got a really fine nozzle. It does get a little bit dried up sometimes. So I just run a line along, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not because it will dry clear. Material scissors. I'm not going to bother pulling it around the end, I don't need to. It's just to give it a little bit of prettiness. I'll attach my heart and I might do a few other little bits and pieces, but that's about it. So I keep it flat, so I don't want big flowers, but I'm not even sure if Scrap Friends has it still, but there's this really cute Woodwares punch which makes tiny wee itty bitty blooms, I suppose you'd call them. Great little thing to save them in. So I've had some yellow scrap paper and I thought I'd just be able to use those randomly. Might even layer one up maybe. I don't think so, I don't think it needs it. So yeah, I'll do that as well. Thank you, bye.